I had never imagined the day would come when I'd stand in front of a huge swimming pool, the sharp smell of chlorine slamming into my nose, my heart pounding so hard I thought I might actually pass out right there. But that was exactly where I was, the sports complex of my new university, on the very first day with an assignment sheet in my hand. Swimming team assistant. I'd read that line at least 10 times, hoping I'd misread it. No, I hadn't. It was a cruel joke. Me, Conrad, the guy who nearly drowned at 12, who still gets haunted by the feeling of water flooding his lungs every time he closes his eyes, who even avoids taking long showers. Assigned to the swimming team. Life really knows how to poke at old wounds. You're the new guy? A low, cold voice cut through my thoughts. I turned around, and in that moment, I almost forgot how to breathe. He was standing there, tall, broad-shouldered, hair still wet and dripping down his forehead, hoodie half open to reveal the sculpted body that had just come out of the water. His pale blue eyes looked at me like he was sizing up something unimpressive. Yeah, I'm the new assistant, I stammered. He smirked, but it wasn't a friendly smile. Assistant? He repeated, voice dripping with doubt. You? I swallowed. Is there a problem? He stepped closer. The faint scent of water and soap made my head spin. Look at you, he said, arms crossed. You've never even been in the water, have you? I froze. Not because of the question. Because he was right. Let me guess, he interrupted. You got assigned here because they're short-staffed. And now I have to deal with someone who knows nothing about swimming as my assistant. Every word felt like a punch. I gripped the paper tighter. I can learn. He let out a laugh. This time it was clearly mocking. You? Learn to swim. He shook his head. This isn't high school gym class, Conrad. I froze. You know my name? Team roster, he answered curtly. I'm teacher. Team captain. Of course. Who else could carry that kind of overwhelming presence? Listen, Thatcher continued, his voice turning even colder. I don't have time for experiments. If you can't keep up, just quit. Don't slow the whole team down. I wanted to argue back. I wanted to tell him I wasn't as weak as he thought. But my throat closed up. Because, deep down, I knew he was right about one thing. I was terrified of water. Terrified. My first practice started with standing outside the pool. My job was pretty simple. Record times, hand out towels, bring water, sometimes pick up gear. No one spoke to me. No one really noticed me, except Thatcher. He kept glancing my way, his eyes not even trying to hide his irritation. After about an hour, he climbed out of the pool, water streaming down his body. Conrad. I jumped. Yes. Come here. I hesitated. It was only a few steps, but with every step closer to the pool, my heart beat faster. What? I asked when I stopped about a meter from the edge. Thatcher looked down at the water, then at me. You're scared, aren't you? No. I answered instantly on reflex. He raised an eyebrow. Really? I bit my lip. It's just, I'm not used to it. He stayed silent for a few seconds like he was thinking. Then suddenly he leaned down, dipped his hand in the water, and flicked a little toward me. A few drops hit my hand. That was all. But my whole body went rigid. Old memories crashed over me like a wave. Water, darkness, air disappearing. Enough, I said quickly, stepping back. Thatcher stared at me. No more smirking. No more mocking. Just observing. You really are scared, he said, voice lower. I turned my face away. I said I'm not used to it. He stepped closer. Too close. I don't care if you're not used to it or scared, he said. If you're working here, you need to understand water. I can be an assistant without getting in the pool, I argued. Not with me. I looked at him. What do you mean? Thatcher exhaled, like he was holding something back. Tomorrow, he said, you're getting in the water. My heart dropped to the bottom of my stomach. No. That wasn't a question. I said no. My voice came out louder than I intended. People around us started looking. The air turned tense. Thatcher didn't flinch. He just looked at me, deep, sharp, like he could see through every layer of defense I had. Then you can leave, he said bluntly. A simple choice. Stay and face the fear, or walk away and keep running. I clenched my fists. I'd run enough already. I'll get in, I whispered. Thatcher's eyes shifted slightly. Not completely cold anymore, but not gentle either. 6 a.m., he said. Don't be late. That night I didn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw myself sinking, heard the water roaring in my ears, felt the despair of not being able to breathe. I sat up, clutching my head. You can do this, I muttered to myself. But a part of me knew tomorrow wasn't going to be simple, and the person forcing me to face it all was Thatcher. For some reason, between the fear tightening around my chest, I kept remembering the look in his eyes when he realized I was actually panicking. Not mocking, not contemptuous, but something else, something I couldn't name yet, and that scared me even more. 6 a.m. The sky was still dark when I walked into the pool area. The space was terrifyingly quiet. No laughter from the team, no chaotic splashing. Just cold white lights reflecting on the still surface of the water like a mirror. And Thatcher, he was already there, standing at the edge, hands in his hoodie pockets, like he belonged there. And me, I was the intruder. You're on time, he said without turning around. I didn't sleep, I answered, voice hoarse. He glanced at me. Looks like it. I didn't reply. The air between us was still taut like a stretched string, but not as sharp and prickly as yesterday. Instead, it was something heavier. Come here, Thatcher said. Just 2 words. But my legs felt like lead. I walked slowly, stopping at the same spot as yesterday, a meter from the edge. My body locked up on its own. Thatcher looked down at my feet. How long are you planning to stand there? I said I'd get in, I answered, trying to keep my voice steady. That doesn't mean I'm going to jump right away. He sighed, like he was trying to hold back his impatience. No one's making you jump. He sat down at the edge, lightly patting the water. Just sit first. I looked at him, then at the water. Just sit. It sounded simple, but for me, it was like standing at the edge of an abyss. Conrad. His voice dropped. Not harsh, not forcing, just certain. I took a deep breath, then slowly sat at the edge, feet still on the dry tile. Good, Thatcher said. Now slowly lower your feet into the water. My heart started racing. I don't think. Look at me. I looked up. His eyes held me in place. Nothing's going to happen, he said slowly. I'm right here. A simple sentence. But somehow, I believed him. I looked back at the water. Then very slowly I lifted my foot. Just a little. My toes touched the surface. Cold. My whole body twitched. But nothing happened. No whoops. No sinking feeling. Just water. Keep going, Thatcher said softly. I bit my lip, then lowered my foot deeper. Water reached my ankles. My heart hammered like a drum. But I was still breathing. I was okay. Both feet, he said. I did it. Both my feet were now in the water. The feeling strange. Not as terrifying as I'd imagined. But it still made me tense. You okay? Thatcher asked. I didn't answer right away. I just stared at the water, feeling it wrap around my legs. Okay, I whispered. For the first time, I was in water without panicking. I didn't know what I was supposed to feel. Relief or fear because of it. Good, Thatcher said, standing up. That's enough for today. I looked up, surprised. Already? He nodded. I'm not trying to drown you on day 1. I let out a small laugh. A real one, quiet. And that was the first time. The air between us wasn't tense. The days after that followed the same pattern. Small steps, sitting at the edge, soaking my feet, then standing in the shallow end. Every time my heart still raced. But I didn't run anymore, and Thatcher was always there. Not patient, not gentle, but no longer cruel like at the beginning. He started talking more. Not about himself. About technique. Relax your shoulders. Don't hold your breath. You're too tense. Sometimes he'd touch my arm to adjust my posture. Quick, decisive touches. But every time, I felt something strange. Not fear. Something warm spreading from where he touched. I hated it. And I didn't hate it. One afternoon, after the team had all left, I stayed behind to clean up. Thatcher was doing his final laps. I sat at the edge watching him. The way he moved through the water was perfect. Powerful. Precise. Like the water was part of him. Unlike me, I was the outsider. Seen enough. His voice right beside me made me jump. I wasn't. He climbed out, water dripping from his hair onto his shoulders. You've been staring for 10 minutes, he said. My face burned. I was just observing technique. He smirked. Sure. I looked away. Think whatever you want. Silence fell. Then Thatcher sat down beside me. Closer than usual. Tomorrow, he said. You're going deeper. My heart sank. How deep? To your waist. I clenched my hands. Thatcher. He turned to look at me. You're improving, he said. Faster than I expected. I blinked. Not used to hearing him say that. Was that a compliment? He shrugged. Don't make it a big deal. But I still caught something softening in his voice. I looked down at the water. You don't understand, I said quietly. Every time I go deeper, it feels like I'm going back to that time. Thatcher stayed silent. Longer than usual this time. What happened? He asked. I tensed. I don't want to talk about it. Okay. He didn't push. Just like that. But that made me want to tell him. I fell into a lake. I started, voice growing smaller. No one saw. I tried to swim, but I couldn't. I just sank. I squeezed my hands. And I thought I was going to die. Silence filled the space. Only the sound of dripping water. I get it, Thatcher said. I looked at him, surprised. You do. He nodded slightly. I almost died in a competition once, he said. Muscle cramp. In the middle of the pool. I was stunned. You? Yeah. He gave a faint smile. I'm not always as perfect as you think. I didn't know what to say. I just felt the distance between us suddenly shrink. In a strange way. I'm still scared, I said. I know. So why do you keep pushing me? Thatcher looked straight into my eyes. Because I don't want you to live your whole life with that fear. My heart trembled. Not because of the water. Because of him. The next day, I stood in the water, up to my waist. My heart raced, but I stayed steady. Thatcher stood right in front of me. Look at me, he said. I did. You're okay. I nodded. You're doing really well. I took a deep breath. For the first time, I felt like I could actually do this. But I didn't know that in just a few more days, everything would spiral out of control. I thought I was making progress. I really did. Step by step, centimeter by centimeter. I'd learned to stand in water without shaking, learned to breathe steadily even when my heart was racing. I'd even started getting used to Thatcher being close, used to his low voice near my ear, used to him touching my arms, shoulders, back, correcting every small movement. Everything was slowly becoming okay. Until that evening. That day, the team practiced later than usual. It was already dark outside, the pool lights reflecting on the water in long, glittering but cold streaks. I stayed behind as always, cleaning up, taking notes, trying not to think too much. But when I turned around, I realized I wasn't alone with the team anymore. Just me and Thatcher. He was in the water, swimming slower than usual, like he was thinking. Why haven't you gone home yet? I asked, my voice echoing softly in the empty space. Thatcher stopped, gripping the edge. Why haven't you? I have to clean. He looked at me for a moment, then said, come down here. My heart tightened instantly. No. Today isn't scheduled. Conrad. His voice wasn't harsh this time, but there was something different, heavier. I hesitated. Just for a bit, he said. I'm right here. The familiar words. And damn it, They still worked. I walked closer. Slowly. Very slowly. Took off my shoes. Rolled up my pants. Then sat at the edge. "Get in," Thatcher said. I looked at the water. It looked darker than during the day. Deeper. Scarier. "Just to your waist," he added. I took a deep breath. Then slid in. Water wrapped around my legs. Then knees. Then higher. My heart started racing. But I stayed steady. Thatcher stood right in front of me. Closer than usual. "You okay?" he asked. "Okay." He nodded. Then suddenly he took one more step closer. The space between us almost disappeared. "Relax," he said. I tried. But when the water rippled lightly around my body, a familiar feeling began to rise. The air felt thick. My heart beat faster. "Conrad." His voice sounded distant. "No, not now. Not," I gasped sharply. But it wasn't enough. My lungs felt squeezed. Water. Water everywhere. Couldn't breathe. I stepped back. My foot slipped. The water rose. Everything shattered. I sank. Again. Just like that year. Cold. Dark. Silence so terrifying. I opened my mouth. But only water rushed in. Air vanished. My body thrashed. The more I struggled, the deeper I sank. I was going to die. The thought flashed. Clear. Cold. Then, a strong force pulled me up. "Wake up, Conrad." The voice rang out. "Close. Urgent." I coughed violently. Air rushed into my lungs like fire. I was shaking. Soaked. I was on the deck. And Thatcher was holding me. Tight enough that I could barely move.
"I'm sorry," he gasped.
"Don't say anything." His voice was hoarse. Completely different from usual. I realized his hands were trembling. "You." I said, "Don't say anything," he repeated, but softer this time. I stayed quiet. Only our ragged breathing remained. I could feel his body clearly. Warm. Solid. Safe. Completely opposite to what I just felt in the water. I didn't know when I'd grabbed his shirt. I just knew. I didn't want to let go. "You're okay now," Thatcher said, voice low, almost whispering in my ear. "I'm here." Those words again. But this time, they weren't just words. They were real. I closed my eyes. Forehead resting on his shoulder. The trembling slowly eased. I started. "No," he cut in. "You're fine." I nodded slightly, but I didn't pull away. And he didn't let go either. We sat like that for a long time. Neither of us spoke. We didn't need to. When I finally calmed down enough to look up, I saw Thatcher watching me. Not with cold eyes. Not judging. But with worry. Real worry. "Why do you keep pushing me?" I asked quietly. He was silent for a few seconds. Then, "Because I thought I could help. I almost died." "I know."
"I'm scared."
"I know." I looked at him. "So why are you still here?" The question slipped out, and I immediately wanted to take it back. But Thatcher didn't dodge it. "Because you didn't give up," he said. My heart trembled. "You came back every day even though you were scared," he continued. "I've never seen anyone like that." I didn't know how to respond. I just felt something inside my chest changing. Slowly, but surely. "I hate you," I whispered. He smirked. "I know. But I also..." I stopped. I couldn't finish the sentence. Didn't dare. Thatcher looked at me for a moment. Then gently, he raised his hand, touched my cheek. His fingers were warm, the opposite of my cold, water-soaked skin. "You don't have to say it," he said. His voice, for the first time, was so gentle it made my throat tighten. I swallowed. The air between us became strange, heavy, but not uncomfortable. It was close in a dangerous way. "Conrad," he said my name, softly, like he was testing how it felt on his lips. I didn't know what was happening. I just knew. I didn't want to leave. Didn't want to break this moment. But right then, I realized one thing. Everything was no longer simple. It wasn't just fear of water. It wasn't just training. I was starting to fear something else. Something named Thatcher. I avoided Thatcher for the next 2 days. Not because I hated him. If things were still as simple as before, maybe I could have breathed easier. But no. It was precisely because I no longer hated him the way I did at the beginning that I was scared. Scared of how my heart reacted every time I thought about that look in his eyes. Scared of the safety I felt in his arms. Scared of how I hadn't wanted to pull away. This wasn't okay. Not okay at all. On the 3rd day, I couldn't hide anymore. Practice started like normal. Sound of water, coach's whistle, teammates laughing. Everything familiar. Only one thing was different. Thatcher. He didn't speak to me, didn't call my name, didn't look at me for more than a second. Like, that night had never happened. Part of me felt relieved. The other part felt painfully empty. Conrad, hand me the timing board. A teammate called. Yeah, here. I handed it over, forcing myself to focus on the work. Not think, not feel, not remember. But then, you. That voice. I froze. Thatcher was standing right behind me. Come here. Without waiting for an answer, he turned and walked away. I hesitated, then followed. We stopped at a quiet corner of the pool, where no one was paying attention. Why are you avoiding me? He asked directly. No beating around the bush.
No softness.
I looked down. I'm not. Don't lie. I clenched my fists. I just need time. Time for what? I stayed silent, because I didn't know what to call it. This feeling, this change, everything between us. Conrad. His voice lowered. Look at me. I looked up. Mistake. His eyes were too close, too clear, too real. That night, he said slowly. It wasn't your fault. I know. Then stop hiding. I'm not hiding. You are. I exhaled sharply. What do you want me to do? I snapped back. Act like nothing happened? Thatcher paused. Just for a second. But I saw it. I didn't say that, he replied. Then what do you want? He didn't answer right away. He just looked at me. Then said something I never expected. I don't want you to be scared of me. My heart stopped. I'm not scared of you.
No.
I opened my mouth, then closed it, because I knew he wasn't talking about fear of water. He was talking about something else. And damn it, he was right.
I fumbled.
What are you feeling? He asked. The question felt like a push. I stepped back half a step. That's not your business. It is. Why? Because I'm the one who pulled you up that night. I froze. And because since then, he paused, like he was choosing his words. Everything has changed. The air grew heavy. Couldn't deny it. So what about you? I asked, voice smaller. What are you feeling? Thatcher looked at me. For a long time. Long enough that I thought he wouldn't answer. But then, uncomfortable, he said. I frowned. Uncomfortable? Yeah. Why? He exhaled. Because I'm not used to paying this much attention to anyone. My heart pounded. You pay attention to me? Obviously. I didn't know how to react. Part of me wanted to laugh. The other part wanted to run. That's not a good thing, he continued. It makes me lose focus.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. He stepped closer. Not fast, but enough that I couldn't back up anymore. I'm just trying to understand, he said. Why? Why what? Why you? My heart pounded so hard I thought he could hear it. Maybe, I said softly, you should stop. Stop what? All of it. He gave a faint smile. It's not that easy. Why not? Because you're still here. My throat tightened. And so am I, he added. The air between us thickened. Neither of us moved. Neither of us spoke more. Just our eyes locked. And in that moment, I knew we had crossed a line. There was no going back. Practice that day ended in silence. But different from the avoidance before. This time, it was an unspoken understanding. Thatcher was no longer as cold as before. I wasn't hiding anymore, but we were both careful. Too careful. Like one wrong step, and everything would shatter. That night, I lay on my dorm bed, staring at the ceiling. Couldn't sleep. Again. But this time, not because of water. Because of Thatcher. I replayed every word he'd said. I don't want you to be scared of me. I'm not used to paying attention to anyone like this. Why you? I sighed. Damn it. I buried my face in the pillow. I knew exactly where I was. Stuck in the middle of something dangerous. Something that could hurt me. Or make me happy. And the scariest part? I wasn't sure I wanted to avoid it anymore. The next day, when I walked into the pool area, Thatcher was already there. Waiting for me. Without a word. He just held out his hand. Get in the water, he said. I looked at his hand. Then into his eyes. No more hesitation. I took it. And for the first time, I didn't feel like I was falling. It felt like I was walking toward him. His hand was warm, steady, and strong enough that I almost forgot I was standing in front of the thing that had haunted me for years. I stepped into the water.
No hesitación. No struggle.
Just a following Thatcher's pull. The water rose slowly, past my ankles, knees, thighs, to my waist. My heart still raced, but not wildly, no longer suffocating, because he hadn't let go. Look at me, Thatcher said. I did. His eyes held me steady, anchored me to reality. You're okay, he said. I nodded slightly. You're doing really well. A simple sentence. But from him, it carried different weight. I took a deep breath. This time, air filled my lungs easily.
No choking. No panic.
Just me and him. Let go, I said. Thatcher frowned slightly. You sure? I want to try. He looked at me one more second. Then, slowly released my hand. In that instant, my heart wavered. But I didn't step back. Didn't leave the water. I stood still. Alone. In the water. I'm still okay, I said, almost not believing it myself. Thatcher didn't smile. Didn't tease. He just nodded. I know. We started practicing the basics. How to balance. How to float. How to stop fighting the water. At first, I was still tense. Shoulders stiff. Breath uneven. But Thatcher was more patient than before. He didn't push. Didn't rush. You're fighting the water, he said, standing behind me. Don't. It's hard. I know. He placed his hand on my back. Light. But enough for me to feel it clearly. Trust me. Those two words were scarier than anything. But I still obeyed. I relaxed. A little. Then a little more. The water lifted me. It didn't pull me down. Didn't drown me. It just held me up. I opened my eyes. Surprised. See, Thatcher said. His voice was close. Too close. I turned my head. The space between us almost disappeared. You're not letting go, right? I asked softly. He looked at me.
No.
A simple answer. But it made my heart skip a beat. In the days that followed, everything changed. Not just my progress in the water, but the way we were around each other. Thatcher was no longer just the strict team captain. He was still strict, still direct. But with me, he was different. He asked if I'd eaten. He reminded me to rest. He even smiled sometimes. Not the mocking smirk. A real smile. Rare. But enough that I remembered it forever. And me, I started looking forward to practice. Not because of the water, because of him. One evening, after everyone had left, we stayed behind again. Just the two of us. Like last time. But this time, no panic. No fear. Just comfortable silence. I think you can try floating, Thatcher said. I looked at him. Floating? Completely? He nodded. I'll be here. I swallowed. This was a big step. Bigger than anything I'd done. Okay, I said.
No hesitación.
I stood in slightly deeper water. My heart started racing, but I didn't turn back. Lean back, he instructed. I did. Slowly. Very slowly. Water reached my shoulders. Then my neck. Then my ears. Outside sounds faded. Only my heartbeat. And his voice. Relax, Conrad. I closed my eyes. Trusted him. Trusted myself. And then, I let go. My body floated up, like, not sinking.
No panique.
Just drifting. I opened my eyes. Ceiling above. Lights. Everything normal. But for me, it was a miracle.
I'm floating, he whispered.
Yeah, Thatcher replied. His voice sounded different. I turned my head. He was watching me, without blinking, eyes deep and warm. I did it, I said, unable to hide my smile. You always could, he answered. My heart trembled. Thanks to you. He shook his head.
No.
It was you. Silence fell. But this time, neither of us broke it right away. We just looked at each other. Water rippling gently around us. The world seemed to shrink. Just me and him. Conrad, Thatcher said, his voice low, a little hoarse. Yeah. He hesitated. For the first time I saw him like that. There's something. He stopped, then shook his head. Never mind. I frowned. What were you going to say? Not the right time. Why? Because if I say it now... He looked at me. I'm not sure I can stop. My heart pounded hard. Stop what? He didn't answer. He just moved closer. Very close. The water between us almost gone. I could feel his breath. Could see every drop of water on his skin. And then, he stopped. Only centimeters away. Not touching. But enough to make everything dangerous. I should get you out, he said softly. But he didn't move. Neither did I. Neither of us wanted to break the moment. But we both knew we were standing on a fragile line. One more step, and nothing could go back to the way it was. And this time, I wasn't sure I wanted to go back anymore.